Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, or good night. I am Mrs. Kelley. This presentation is regarding social studies. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I have been teaching in Marietta for 19 years and 10 years at Thompson Middle School. I have multiple credentials and I have my master's degree in curriculum and instruction with a focus in technology, and I am a reading specialist. So, one of the things that I really want to focus this year on is communication. At registration, your student received a planner or an agenda, and every day we write in homework. So, a way to check if your child has homework is to check the planner. In our class, it is required to do that every day. If you do notice your child is not doing that, please send me an email so I can set up some support for your child. We'll also be communicating through Canvas, and I'll be taking you through a tour in just a minute. And so I wanted to, before we do that, I really want to make sure everybody understands that obviously there's some situations beyond our control. But if we can't attend school every day, but if you're unable to not attend, please be diligent about checking Canvas for assignments. I've been putting everything we've been doing there electronically, so your child, if they have to stay home, they can come back and feel prepared if they're well, of course, when they're out. Please be active on Canvas weekly to check grades. My grade book is in Canvas, and I update grades at minimum weekly. And we're also working on the Aries Canvas Passback. We just haven't been able to have that actually work for us yet. So let's go ahead and go on a Canvas tour of the page. So when we look at our Canvas page here, when you go to the agenda, you can see that we have our agenda, which says each day I tell the students what it is that they need to have out, so that way they're prepared for the class day. And then obviously if we play games, this is a slideshow presentation. The CW stands for classwork and the HW stands for homework. Now, I have been indicating down here just some reminders to students if they are absent, what they actually need to do to be caught up in the lesson. It's not the same as being in class, but at least they have their materials and they're coming in prepared. Anytime there's a link, that means that it's clickable. So that means it gives you the description of the assignment and etc. Also, when we look at grades, for example, and this is a test student here, but it'll say missing if it's in fact missing. And so if it's missing, that means they need to turn it in. Now, there's two places they can turn it in. If they're in person, they can turn in the handouts to me, and I will update that like within 24 hours, 48 at the most. But if they're absent, they can send it in electronically. Another point I want to make sure I go over is this past agenda button. So when you go to past agendas, you'll notice that it'll have the agenda here and then the week. So pretend you were absent the first week of school. You can click on that week and it'll take you to exactly what it is that we did in class. So I hope that helps streamline things for you. Now, grades, if you notice on Canvas, it says that grades are 30% formative and actually 70% summative. That means formative checks like quizzes, things like that are just brief snapshots of what they know. That is worth 30% of their grade. And then the summative assessments, which shows accumulation of knowledge over time, those are worth more. They're worth 70% of the grade. Now, late work is students must turn in their late work the day it's due, and that means if they're in person, they turn it in. But I do give the electronic option for them to turn it in electronically too. So if they forgot that day, they can go home and they could turn it in before midnight that night, and it won't show up as late. After that, it's a 5% deduction per day it's late, and the lowest possible score is a 50%. Now, one of the things that you'll notice in seventh grade history is it's not really about memorizing things. It's really about thinking about events, thinking about history, and actually researching things on their own, citing evidence, learning about civics, reading multiple texts. And then you'll see down here that we study medieval and early modern history, and that is from the year 500, basically, give or take, to 1789. And as far as extra credit is only offered if there is an opportunity to deepen an understanding of standards, not to bump grades. And if students are going above and beyond the mastery level, they might receive extra points. Relearning opportunities will happen. So at the very beginning of the year, I'll give students multiple attempts to get them confident in their test taking abilities. And you could tell that on the assignments. And then I will let each person or each assignment know within the assignment, it'll say if there's multiple revisions available. And that's to help improve their understanding of the content so that they're actually revising their work based on feedback that I give them. And these are mostly like big things. Ideas on how to study is quizzes and Quizlet, review the lessons from the ISN, and interacting with your notes. So every day, students are asked to bring their spiral notebook where we'll have our notes inside. And I'll be teaching the students actually next week how to actually take notes and start interacting with them. So if you could please, if you have any questions or anything, I'm going to send out a form where you can ask me any specific questions and I can get back to you. But the best way to get a hold of me is through email. And remember, my name has 2 E's in it. Sometimes people forget this E, and then I never get the email. So I hope we have an amazing year together. I'm super excited about my students, and I'm really happy to be back in person and seeing their faces. We're all in this together, and I hope you have a wonderful, amazing day.